our first show. It's so exciting to have a wonderful guest today. But first, this is I for Homes TV, and I'm Kathy.
And I'm Tracy. We are husband and wife real estate broker team with John L. Scott in Redmond, Washington.
Right below there.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have a guest that will help out many of you start the buying process to buy your dream home.
We are. Her name is, are we ready to go with this?
Yes, let's get
going.
going.
We're going to try and keep this to about 20 minutes, so we've got a few topics, so we're just going to get going here. So here we have Patty Solie, loan officer with Priority Lending.
Yeah.
Patty, you are on.
Good morning, I should say afternoon.
Yes,
Tracy,
welcome.
Kathy, thank you so very much for the opportunity to be of help, because that's my goal too, to help our new buyers be prepared and to have as smooth and stress-free a process as possible.
And
Great.
it's really important, and you always talk to many real estate agents about what they need to help their clients get ready to start buying their dream homes. And so we want to start asking you questions right now. Oh wait, first, actually, we want to
learn a little about Patty.
Just a little.
You know, I have had the pleasure of being in this industry for many, many years. It actually started in 1986.
Wow.
Which is, so I've seen many cycles and many improvements, I should say, over the years. And you know what? It is always rewarding and exciting to help a family move into a new home. And you know what? Being part of that process is just exhilarating. So I really, again, appreciate being here to help.
We really
yes.
appreciate having you here. We talk to you all the time, or we listen to your great talks every Monday morning. So you said something to me before that you actually were a real estate agent. I didn't know that.
Indeed, I was. In fact, I've been an escrow officer. I have been a real estate agent and worked with new construction builders. And so I would have the pleasure during that period of time of helping folks all the way through the process, from selecting a home site, selecting the design of the home, going through options. And at that time, I had already been a loan officer, so having that financing knowledge really made that process much easier for them also.
I had no idea. So that's even more knowledge that you have to help buyers get that dream home. So that's nice to know.
And you know what, that is really the pleasure, because knowing what all of the aspects of the transaction involve really does help to guide and to solve problems and to prevent them, frankly, from happening, so that everything goes smoothly.
That is a good point, to prevent things happening.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, our first topic that we wanted to cover is a very important thing, because in today's market, houses go on the market on one day and they sell the next day or a few days afterward, and it's
really
just crazy.
fast. Yes.
And it's very important for people to be ready to get into that buying process before they actually find their dream home.
It's very, very important, because you know what, preparation solves so many of the things that do come up, and maybe, preparation is the key. So the very first step is to begin the application process to find out, what are your credit scores? What are you really able to buy? You may be pleasantly surprised to know that you can afford more than you think you can.
That's always the best part of going through you too, is getting that knowledge.
Hey, look what I can get.
Yes.
But there's always been this, back when we bought houses, pre-qualified seemed to be the word that was used a lot. Then there's pre-approved, and now there's something new, certified mortgage ready, I guess. Can you kind of go over those three and tell us more about them?
Definitely. So let me tell you, those are three very distinct and different stages of the process. A pre-qualification means that I have had a conversation with you as a new buyer over the phone, and you've shared with me what your income is, how long you've been on your job, what your debts are, what your monthly debts, and those would be debts that are contractual, such as minimum monthly payments on credit cards, car loan, perhaps you already own another property. And so we find out what is your financial picture, and I then run calculations. We learn what you have available as a down payment, and we run the calculations, and I can give you a pretty close estimate of what the new payment would be that you qualify for. That's a pre-qualification. It's been completely verbal. Now, the next step is pre-approval. In a pre-approval process, you have actually taken the step to complete an application, and we have run a credit report for you. So we know what the credit scores are. We know what the actual minimum payments are exactly, because they're appearing on the credit report. You might have forgotten one, or you might have told me that the minimum payment is more because you make higher monthly payments. So with a credit report, I know what the actual payments are. And you have also provided me with your income documentation. So that would be pay stubs, tax returns for the past 2 years, W-2s, 1099s if you're self-employed, and you might be have a corporation. You might be a sole proprietor, which would mean personal tax returns, or you might be incorporated, which would mean corporate as well as personal tax returns. So pre-approval means I've had a chance to review all of that and input the information into what we call the automated underwriting system, and I've run a decision that says approve eligible.
Now, that sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, and how long but there's a couple questions here. First, how long does these processes take? Because people think it takes forever, and then, a house will go by. And
yeah, it's scary and all that other stuff.
Yes, and then the other one is entrepreneurs are asking me now, they're scared that they won't be able to qualify for loans.
Certainly. A pre-qualification can take 20 minutes on the telephone.
Okay.
And actually, a pre-approval can go very, very quickly. I'm going to email a list of the documentation to provide. And I love to meet people in person. We can do this whole process online, but actually, I love to meet people and get to know them. And because when you're having a conversation together, new information comes out. It just does, because we're talking about you and your needs, and it just leads to, it's a discovery process. Now, an actual approval, though, if I have the documentation in my hands and we have the application in the system, that can be done in a day, in just a few hours. So I can then say, this borrower is pre-approved. Now, the next step, the better step.
There's a better step?
There's a better step.
That'll get you to your dream home faster?
Yes, faster and with the most certainty. If you do
and ease.
If you do need financing to purchase a home, and you are competing with cash buyers in this market, what you really want is to have an underwritten approval. That means that not only have I, with all the experience that I have, I've reviewed your information, requested additional information. My job is to answer every question that the underwriter is going to ask in advance, so that we present the most complete file that we possibly can. No unanswered questions is our goal. So when I prepare that file, until it's actually reviewed by the underwriter, we are still only pre-approved. When an underwriter has viewed it and has given it the thorough review and let us know what, if anything, is remaining to be approved and to be delivered to the investor, that means our credit file is set. We know that our financing is in place, and the only remaining piece is going to be the appraisal on the property.
And how long would that take? I mean, how long will that last? The
certified, the underwritten approval.
Yes.
Now, a credit report is good for 90 days.
Okay.
And we would update pay stubs on a monthly basis and bank statements on a monthly basis. So an underwritten approval is valid for as long as we have a valid credit report. So you could really be positioned and ready. And, too, when we meet and we have the underwriting approval, and our borrowers have an opportunity to be out looking at properties, they may come back and say, gosh, I may need to go a little bit higher to get the home I want. Then we're perfectly positioned to resubmit, make changes that need to be made, resubmit, and be prepared for a maximum.
Exactly. See, and that's all of the information you need to get that dream home and go through the process with your realtor that could take, it could be very stressful, and that out of the way will help quite a bit.
Indeed. And there are many aspects of employment that may need clarification. If there's been a small gap in your employment history, we simply need to write a letter and explain. And if you're self-employed, we would need a profit and loss for year-to-date, and we would be using past year's filed tax return.
So that would be for the entrepreneurs too.
Correct. And now, in some cases, if you're a licensed business owner and you've been in business for 2 years, I may be able to get you approved with only 1 year of tax returns.
Wouldn't that be nice?
You're magic.
I know.
You've got magic, don't you?
That's our goal. That's it. And you know what? Actually, that's why I returned to mortgages from being in the agent role. I just find it is a wonderful way to really be able to help people.
Very satisfying.
Yes, very satisfying.
First home buyers through to $1 million, multiple ownership. It's just across the board. We help all of our borrowers.
And isn't that nice, Wheeler? A nice team of people helping to get that dream home.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So a little bit ago, during the start of the show, you mentioned credit scores. And I've been reading in the news, we've been reading in the news that there's something new about credit scores. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes. Well, everyone is aware that from the time that the financial crisis occurred in the 08-09 period, we had a severe change in the documentation requirements, which actually, frankly, has been a good thing. And you know what? Honestly, we are always able to get the information that's needed from our borrowers. When there's an explanation of why something's needed, it helps everything, and things are complete, the package is complete, no unanswered questions. Credit scores are also something that is subject to change and improvement if necessary. When we have a chance to review a credit report, you'll see 3 bureau scores. We have 3 bureaus because each of them rates information a little bit differently. You get a good cross-section of the borrower's financial profile, their credit profile. And so we throw out the high score, throw out the low score, and go with the one in the middle. So mid-score. Now, some folks just starting out, though, don't have scores yet. Or perhaps in the past you've had some challenges with credit and you're finding it difficult to obtain credit. Well, we are learning that Fair Isaac, one of the bureaus, is returning to a process that we used to call alternative credit. And in the alternative credit world, we were able to use borrowers' actual payment history for their monthly obligations, such as cell phone bills, insurance payments, anything that was recurring, cable vision, garbage bill,
everything they always pay for anyways.
Yes, and use that to establish a history. Now, those debts were put on what we call credit supplements. The challenge now for the current computerized system, though, is that what we call AUS, automated underwriting system, can't read that credit supplement. They can't read the information. They see it. They can see it, though, if it's evaluated as a score. So Fair Isaac is going to start converting alternative credit performance into a score format that will eventually be able to hopefully be utilized by the mainstream conventional FHA, VA, USA mortgage providers. But initially, certainly for consumer loans, for automobiles, credit card applications, and perhaps some portfolio banks, some smaller community banks will be able to use those kinds of scores to approve people, all to really help them get a start, to help people get a start.
That's great.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Really good information for people that are, wondering if they can even have, if they have a credit score that's
Exactly.
good at all.
And there is absolutely no cost or obligation to have a credit report pulled, and often it's very worthwhile. And because there, as we know, there are many aspects of security fraud that come up when you do pull a credit report. You can discover things that are not expected.
What about that? That brings up a good question that people they talk to me about when they pull up credit scores on the internet. They just Google a credit score. How reputable are those?
Well, the challenge with those scores is that they are consumer scores versus the scores that we use for a residential mortgage credit report are different. Our residential mortgage credit report scores are very in-depth. The research goes back 10 years, and it's a far deeper score calculation. So it can be different, and the consumer scores can actually reflect higher than what is actually on the residential mortgage credit report.
That's good information there.
Yeah, so it can be a little bit of a surprise. However, oftentimes too, once we see a report, we're seeing things that have not been corrected, that a borrower has already paid or taken care of, that have not been followed through on by the entity who placed an alert on the credit report. So then we're able to step in, help those things be finalized, and do what's called a rapid rescore to then reflect in a very short period of time, just a matter of days, 3 to 5 days, a brand new score that reflects the corrections.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah. We have lots of ways to make it possible for our borrowers to be qualified and ready to go.
That is wonderful.
That's really good news.
We've only got a few moments left, and I know that
I'm gonna have to have you back because there's a whole bunch more questions.
But interest rates are on everybody's minds all the time. Can you just give us a very quick update on interest rates right now?
Yes, you know what? This is totally amazing. When I entered the real estate world in 1979, I saw prime rate in the 20s. And our adjustable rate mortgages were in the 16s. And now we're locking rates in the 3s.
Yeah, life is good.
So there has just never been a better time to buy. There really hasn't. And many factors come into play with the rates. But again, once we have a chance to sit together, we are able to put a borrower into the very best program to give them the best rate and payment structure.
And you make it really nice for people that are first-time buyers that are watching this today. And it's not a scary situation. It's actually going to give you that dream home by just going to talk to somebody like Patty, who, look at how sweet and nice, and I mean, she's going to give you what you want, basically, hopefully.
Yes. And as we have loans that require 0 down payment that are at extremely good rates, very low.
I think the bottom line is call Patty.
Yeah, because when we first bought a house, we didn't have you.
It will just be my pleasure, truly. It's frankly an honor to help and a privilege to help borrowers with this very important process.
Wonderful.
Yes, it is a very important process.
It is, and it's been an honor and a privilege having you on our show today.
As our first guest, too. Thank you so much, Patty. And where can people find you, by the way?
Well, you know what? Just call my cell phone, call or text 425-330-0137, or my website, www.pattysolie.com. That's PATTYSOLIE.com. But call or text me because I love personal contact, and we'll go from there.
That's really wonderful.
Great.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Patty.
Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was our first show.
That was...
Here, high five.